process underway, and we've been heard. We've actually got very competent and capable staff. So thank you for the direction. There's a sense out of the business community that terms like, there's been a sense of stagnation in the West End. There's been some issues around, there's been lots of progress, I think. There's been lots of progress, I think, in some areas. And I know Jim Diva is here and others around the safety and other aspects that are pretty good. The West End has come a very, very long way. I used to live in the West End myself. That the business community and the vacancy rates and how difficult it is to create jobs, and to sustain jobs, and to build a customer base that's viable. These are real challenges. It's not easy being in business in the world, and certainly in North America and Canada and down here in the West End. We need to do everything we can to facilitate business. So we've put our oar in the water with the West End plan. We think that transportation is going to be a big part of that, and facilitating the movement of goods and people getting around here. We think that a little bit of review over the housing and density. We are coming out in support of some densification in the neighborhood, but done well and strategically, and there are market forces at play. But we also realize that from a business standpoint, that the business community wants to support the local community, and when that's done well, then the local community will support the businesses. So we're all in this together, transportation, some density, and I think that some of the, probably 2 or 3 other things that we want to do is, Councillor Stevenson, we do want to tune into the committee that you've now struck to look at Davie Village. We think Denman Street is bang on. It is one of the most important and recognizable and significant streets in the city, and there is so much potential with that street, and transportation is going to be one of the things we need to look at. Do we need to, for example, have parking regulations such that during rush hour, if you can define that on our streets, do we really need to have the parking removed, and does that give us more flexibility around other things that can happen commercially? So tip of the hat, thank you very much for the opportunity to say something, and we think the West End plan is going to lead to a very good place if we all do our homework together.
Okay, so now I'm making Tori do the Olympics here. Go, because Roberto, I'll go to you, and then Tori next one, and then back to you. Is it on?
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Kidd. I live down the street and on Jervis. I've lived here for 15 years and owned a place. I'm wanting just to find out a little bit more about what I'm hearing only rumors about, which is the concept of the park board taking over the associations, making of a profit and taking that from the associations of each of the community centers and centralizing it. I can't imagine how anything could be more difficult to manage and in some ways more costly. And to have it done by the spring of next year seems optimistic, to say it mildly.
Sounds like a very specific rumor. Okay, so I'll let you speak to that.
Thank you. Yeah, there is no plans for us to take over the associations. Vancouver is very unique in the sense that, and many people don't know this, all the community centers are run in partnership with volunteer boards. But not many people are aware of that. They just assume that it's just run 100% by the city. One of the challenges that we have identified with the park board facilities, though, is one of the things is pricing. Beyond the core programming that the park board offers, the associations offer a range of programming. So a lot of what you take at the West End is not provided by the park board directly, but by our volunteer board. There is a huge variance in the prices from one association to the next, and often for the same program with the same instructor. So one of the goals that we've identified is we think that it doesn't have to be the exact same price, but we'd like to see more of a standardization in the pricing, so that if you sign up for your kid to take martial arts or dance or whatever, that you should know that regardless of where you live, that it's a reasonable price and it's about the same price across the city. The other thing that we've identified is there is barriers for those who are on low income. Right now, a lot of these folks are not allowed, are not given access to the programming that is provided by these associations. So it's one of the areas that we are discussing with the association partners about how do we allow or reduce the barriers to those who are on low income. Another area that we've noticed though is that there is a real disparity between the haves and the have-not. There are some associations that a lot of money is coming in, a lot of money that just stays in that neighborhood. And what we have said to our association partners is that this is a system that is owned by the residents of Vancouver. We need to be able to shift the monies around to make it more of a level playing field, so that regardless, again, if you happen to live in a poor part of city, you should still have it's reasonable to have the expectation that you can still have the same quality programming, variety programming in that center. So a lot of discussions are going on, but I can assure you we're not looking at taking over the associations. The associations collectively right now, there is about $15 million that they have in their bank accounts. And we've been very clear with them that that money is their money. We don't want to touch their money. We hope that as we move into the future, we'll be able to work together to find ways for them to invest that money back into their centers or back into their neighborhoods. So really what we're looking at is trying to make things better, more fair in terms of pricing, lower the barriers for those who are poor and lower income. But I can, again, and feel free to tweet and quote, we are not getting rid of or taking over the associations that we work with.
Sorry, that shouting is so that we don't have to make any more. So,
Sorry, it's just that wasn't my question. I understand the disparity and the need for clarity. Thank you. I'm just concerned that what I have heard, and it's been in the newspapers and everything, is that revenue that is made by the associations to pay for the classes and the workshops and the rentals, that is supposed to pay for the instructors, etc., is going to be taken and managed, centralized by a park board. And so,
Yeah, you know,
those community associations.
I think the question is quite clear, and I did get a sense you answered a chunk of that. Did you want to?
Yeah, look, we are definitely looking at a different financial model because right now the programming that we're referring to is monies that are retained earnings from programming that is often put on or supported by park board staff in a park board building. And we've said we need to find a way to make sure that the monies are getting redistributed across the system. Again, the only way that we can make sure that there is equity across the system is to make sure that the monies, the revenues can be spread around. So it isn't about taking over, but we are discussing alternative revenue models. And in fact, we've been discussing this in quite some detail with you as well. This is a process that's been going on for about 12 years. In this last reiteration, we've been working on this for about 8 months with the association. So we are hopeful that we can make some progress into the spring of 2013. And I'd be happy to talk in more detail if you wanted to send me an email. Thank you.
So, Aaron, maybe a follow-up question on that. You just let some people here may not have known that there are community center association boards. If somebody wanted to find out more about the board, get involved somehow, how do they do that?
Yeah, from the city website, you can click on the Parks and Recreation and work your way through down to the community centers, and you'll be able to get in touch with the associations if you wanted to volunteer or just learn more about what they do in their communities.
Great. Corey, do you want to kind of make coming up this side?
Hi, my name is Glenn. I've lived here for 30 years in the West End. The question I have is, well, first off, I'm looking around the room and everybody here seems to have gray hair, which would seem to indicate a love of hangovers. Now, I think first we have gray hair and we have 5-year plans. Okay? So it sounds to me from when we first started speaking here, people were interested, number one, in the bus and on the sidewalk